Hello and welcome to a very special conversation with someone who created the IPL. And we've heard a lot in the last couple of days about a Saudi investment interest in the IPL. Will that make it bigger? Is the amount, because I've seen Lalit Modi tweet, perhaps the valuation aren't that high. So what is the real deal? What does he think about this Saudi interest? Will it make the IPL a more lucrative property? Joining me today for this very special conversation, Lalit Modi from London. Lalit, first thing first, thank you very much for your time. Would a collaboration with the Saudis make the IPL stronger? Playing one leg or even a third of matches preferable? What is your first thoughts?
My first thought is, thank you first for having me, Boria. My first thought is that it's a great thing that somebody has shown interest out of the blue without the BCCI asking for investment. Somebody has actually come forward and said they would like to make an investment. Whether the BCCI is open to it or not is the second issue, but IPL as such, it would be a very, very, very big move. It would put it into a global stratosphere completely. Getting a third-party investment into an operating vehicle from an international global source puts you in a different league. Number two, what it will make it do is it will corporatize the IPL, which is going to be extremely important. We'll take it out of the current subcommittee basis into a corporate entity, and I hope that the corporate entity would have independent directors, would be able to have corporate governance, would make it more professional in terms of dealing with the team owners. Ideal world, if you look at it, actually, when I structured the IPL way back in 2007, the first draft of mine, which was approved actually by the BCCI board at that time, was a separate entity with a corporate governance, with independent directors, with the team owner also being directors. That was the actual draft. In fact, I can find it. I'll share it in one of my social media links in the next few days. It actually showed that the IPL should be governed in a particular manner, because in the future we could look at listing it or making it available to fans around the world. I had never thought about a foreign investment, but I thought even listing it in India would make it a very, very attractive proposition for the fans to have a stake in the team, in the whole league, because they are the ones actually who are making the IPL what it is. It isn't the team owner, it's not the player. Yes, they are a catalyst, but it's the fans who actually take it to a different stratosphere.
You tweeted saying the valuations that are being bandied around aren't perhaps what you wanted to see. Can you please explain that tweet of yours of yesterday?
Yeah, actually, because it made an unsolicited bid at a 30 billion valuation, that itself tells you, without going into a conversation with the BCCI or the IPL, with the BCCI actually, nobody else, that there will be room anyway for negotiation, because they have actually, by coming out with this story on their own, have given a floor pricing for the IPL. It can only go up, it can't go down. And what I meant is low, not only because of that fact, because the fact is that the last deal that was at close to $6 billion only on the media rights. And if you look at that, you add on to that the revenues of this 20% revenues of the franchises that comes into the BCCI. On top of that, you add all the other sponsorship revenues for the IPL that comes into the BCCI. It takes the profit of the BCCI very high. Keep in mind, unlike any other league in the world, there is zero cost. And if you look at return on investment today, the IPL was started at a zero cost. Okay, let's give it a value of 100 rupees. That was the cost of stamp paper. That's actually what it cost. There was no actual investment in the IPL done over and above that. Because when I made the IPL, I sold it on the basis that the cost would only come out if the revenue came in. So there was no payment to IMG or to the players or to anybody else. As a matter of fact, if we didn't have the team sold and we didn't have a television deal. So in fact, we pre-sold everything, we got the cash in, and we didn't have to pay till later. So effectively, the IPL had no requirement of capital injection. Though I take approval of 200 crores at that time, it was $50 million at 40 rupees. I remember clearly, I didn't utilize any of it to start the IPL. So when I actually started the IPL on April of 2008, 2008, I remember clearly that by the time we launched the IPL, yes, we only had one employee, Dheeraj Malhotra, at that time. And everything was done on a radium from my office and with the members of the other members of the BCCI and the state associations. And there was no cost. All the costs for the game day were borne by the team owners, which was capped at 100 at 40 lakhs in those days, $100,000. All IMG costs, which was a huge cost, were based upon our revenue. So if we got a revenue, they'll get a fraction of it. And so we actually went into the business without any cost. But coming back to today's day, the BCCI today has zero costs. When I say zero, it's negligible comparatively to the revenues, are probably less than few percent, single percentage points, and everything else is just profit. Unlike other ODIs and test matches and international bilaterals where they have a cost. Small cost, but they have a cost. In this case, there is no cost at all. The game day cost is borne by the team. So if you look at the valuation as such, whatever the valuation we come to, it will be a multiplier of the profitability. That's how it's calculated, and going forward, what the upward trend is. And the trend right now is only going upwards. India is just more households that are getting connected to television, are all tuning in. And then if you look at the new geographic, new business of online and digital media, which have already, Reliance has shown, and Jio especially has shown that there's more money in online. And I didn't think that transition would be possible in India in such a quick way. But what Jio has done is absolutely marvelous, and it hasn't been done anywhere else in the world, what Jio has done with online. That means the online rights are more expensive than TV, but they are also showing that they can garner the revenue. It's not only you pay for it, because in most countries and most online startups and technology startups, there's a huge cost and there's no revenue, and everybody is based upon subscriber numbers and viewership numbers. They're all banking on that. But in the case of IPL, Jio has real numbers, and the numbers are very, very significant. In fact, I already posted last year, I don't remember exactly what the numbers are today, but very significant numbers. And it showed that it is a very profitable business, and also the attraction rate is very high. And if you look at also generally around the world, majority of the people under the age of 25 don't have television sets. They only have their mobile phone. And streaming for them becomes extremely valuable. And number two, they're working hard. They have some have multiple jobs, and so for them, they don't have time to sit in front of a television like you and I, retired old men, have. But they actually want to watch it on the go. And for them, it's either their laptop, or their iPad, or their phones, whether it's an iPhone or a Samsung, whatever the phone may be. But streaming, and with the quality of streaming in India, which is shockingly amazing compared to the rest of the world, and the cost, not only that, the cost is very important. But this puts it into a different limelight altogether. And I'm going to add another thing. It takes you can ask me the following question, it takes evaluations to a different stratosphere. Not only for the BCCI, but what do we do to the teams is a separate issue, and I'll come to that later.
Okay, very, very interesting. Only thing, Lalit and I, neither of us are retired, so that's one. Everything.
I'm going to be 60 in a few days, in a few weeks. And in England, that's called senior citizen now.
Look, senior citizen, it's all in the mind. In my case, I'm still 47, plenty of time. Anyway, do you ever envisage that it will come to this, that, people will talk about acquiring Saudi, for example, dilution of stake when you started it? See, get to hear. Did you ever envisage this could happen with the IPL?
I never thought that we would divert stake to international, that anybody international would be interested, to tell you the truth. I always thought that we could list it in the Indian stock market. And if we do, forget Saudi, if we do list it on the Indian stock market, it will be the number one share trading on a daily basis, I guarantee it. There will be no other company that will be traded more, even Reliance or Jio or anybody, than IPL. I can guarantee that. And then what we do is, you got to look at the flip side of it. Not the flip side, the other side of it. If you look at it, BCCI retains what? 50% of the revenue of all media rights. It retains 50% of the revenue of all sponsorship rights. But in addition, it gets 20% of the revenue of all the teams. Okay? So if you look at it, ideally, if there's $200 coming in total revenue, IPL gets 100, the team owners get 100, all 10 teams get 100, but then they have to shell out 20, so IPL gets 120, and they're left with 80. So the differential of about 35 to 40%. So if I look at the valuation even that is given by Saudi as an estimate, it would make each of the teams today, as we sit here today, not tomorrow, we're talking about today, the 4th of November, the valuation of each team would be close to 18,000 to 20,000 crores. That is 1.8 billion to $2 billion. As we sit here today, based upon them, if you take the valuation of $30 billion, you take out 40% even, I'm being very luxurious. Take out 40% even, you're left with $18 billion. Divided by 10 teams is 1.8 billion. Wow. You know, so that would be the valuation of the team as of today. But they also have added revenue of ticketing and licensing, plus branding, plus following. So the team will be only higher. I think on the lower level, it'll be, the base will be 1.8. Actually, it could be higher as 2.3, 2.4 billion even.
Fascinating. A couple more questions, Lalit. One, I mean, when I see football, the Saudi Football League have lured players by offering them 10 times the money right now compared to, what Europe offered. Top IPL salaries are anywhere between $1.5 to $2 million for players. Now, if a Saudi-backed league starts offering, say, $10 to $15 million or anything like that, how do you salaries can be?
I want to stop you here. Saudi-backed league, Saudi league, it ain't happening. They have no infrastructure right now. There are no stadiums right now. So I don't know what we keep sharing about the Saudi league. But the Saudi league ain't happening right now. If it is going to happen, it's going to be at least 5 to 7 years away. Okay, for them to build the infrastructure. And on top of that, they have no following of cricket. So you've got to put that into another perspective, another 15 to 20 years away. So it ain't happening. What they're looking at is investing into India, not taking it to Saudi Arabia. Okay, you may have an exhibition match here or there, but for that also, you've got to have the infrastructure to put it up. You've got to build the fan base, you've got to build the loyalty towards cricket. That isn't happening. It's only the migrant workers that are there that are watching the cricket right now. It ain't anybody else. The Saudi population is more tuned towards football. It's like if you're telling somebody that India is going to become a football country, we're hallucinating. It ain't happening. And I said that even 15 years ago. Football's coming in, it ain't happening. A lot of people have tried to sell sponsorship to, especially like Airtel. They didn't believe in the IPL because they thought football was going to come in. And this is when they realized later that 1 year that cricket is the only thing, and only cricket. And we've seen all other countries, including the Big Bash, which is the second most successful league, I would say, today, in Australia. The 100 that floundered, the English wanted to carve their own path and didn't want to follow India. So they came up with a new concept called 100, which nobody understands. And of course, they made a stupid mistake of going with the counties. If they come to me, England can be one of the most profitable countries in the world, without doubt. But for ecosystem of somebody else here, is trying to change the whole system and go with 100, which has got no traction at all. The South African League has little or nothing to say about. The Middle Eastern is going up, but it'll take a long time. America is just a start, a blip on out there. It's a start, it's good, but you're going to look at it from a 15 or 20 year horizon. Not before that at all. I don't think it'll make a profit even for another 15 years. So there's a lot of investment to be done in America. I hear the Olympics are coming in and looking at cricket. That'll be great for the game, without doubt, but it's just the first year. Can't expect miracles to happen and change of habits in America at all.
But tell me something, the way you explain to me team valuations based on what numbers the Saudi people have said, or the $30 billion valuation that we are talking about here, or the investment. You said 1.8 billion. If I think in terms of player salaries, which is still very less compared to what the team valuations have become, how do you see player salaries? Do you see players getting far more money, at least 8 times, 10 times
I
more?
think that's going to, with the competition, it's going to keep going up. We started this at player salary used to be 5 lakhs in actual world. And then in international cricket. And they went to a few 100,000 when we started the IPL. Okay? So they jumped from $10,000 to a few $100,000. At 15 years, time, going to 1.5 to 2 million. I can see every yearly that increasing, but also you've got to keep in mind, let's not only look at player salary only salary basis. In India, it's a different altogether because a lot of the Indian players make a lot of money on endorsements.
Correct.
A large amount of money in endorsements compared to anywhere else in the world. And so you add all of that in and you look at the way the livelihoods of so many players have changed because we only allow 4. I don't think we need international players for the IPL anymore. I mean, we have them because they're good to have and they add a lot to it without doubt. But it wouldn't flounder if it was 100% Indian league. In other words, we have enough talent today on the bench, in the country, across the country, that we can't even absorb. Earlier, you had only one team, the Indian national team, which had 11 playing berths, probably another 5 on the bench, 16 or 18 berths, and those players lasted for 5 to 10 years in the team. So the number of new entrants into the Indian cricket, but maybe 2 or 3 maximum in a year at any given point, and then maybe some other rotation. The more new players are able to make it today, you look at the talent, it's absolutely mind-boggling. And you look at the talent, even look at the young. Most impressed to me have been the Afghani team. The Afghani that have made an impact. And you look at a player like Mohammad Shami from Kashmir. I think he's from Kashmir if I'm not mistaken.
Uttar Pradesh, Bengal, but Mohammad Shami is from Muzaffarnagar in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, Muzaffarnagar. You look at but also there are some Kashmir players. If you look at even Indian territory-wise, the cricket was not prevalent. Didn't have the infrastructure. Didn't have coaching camps, didn't have an avenue for the players to even go and train or ambition to even think about going into parents allowing their kids to go and participate in the sport and use their time and their talent to prove themselves has now shaken up the whole country. It's a testament to the fact that the IPL has promoted all of the sports in the world, in India. And also now the critical thing that BCCI should understand, you need to give great fan experience. And you cannot forget that, and I cannot emphasize more on that. The quality of the stadium, even if they've been refurbished, needs to be done completely over. I mean, you look at the new stadiums coming around Europe with football, the Real Madrid new stadium, and in England, all around the world, this is state of the art. I mean, they rather knock them down completely and rebuild them to state of the art. And it's a high cost, but what is the 50% revenue for the BCCI for? It's not just pocket it in. It's ultimately a philanthropic organization for the people, by the people, for the people. And so that money should be employed by them directly to upgrade the stadiums for the state association and put in better academies, put in more venues. If there's a Uttar Pradesh team, a Lucknow-based team, there's no reason why now you see Varanasi coming up, which I saw the other day in the Prime Minister's speech. Kanpur, there could be other Muzaffarnagar, there could be Noida, different stadiums, and the team should be able to capitalize into multiple locations. It could also, I don't foresee, I see today a secondary league coming in where there's relegation down to another second league and a second league starting in, junior league coming in where there's upgradation and relegation. That would make it completely innovative and make it really thinking forward and take the game to a different level altogether.
That was the last question that, with clear interest from, say, Saudi or another country, this is kind of vindication for the brand. Do you see IPL introducing a tier 2 league, a relegation system, expanding, and perhaps that eating into the 50 over format going forward? If I ask you to take yourself 10 years to your 70th birthday, where do you see IPL?
To answer that question, I have to answer not IPL, I have to answer cricket first. Where do I see cricket in India? I see 50 days going completely. I see there's no relevance to it. It's there for the sake of being there. There's only relevance to test, a 4-day test, not even a 5-day test, and a day-night test, 4-day-night test, because people don't have the luxury to sit from the morning to evening. But if it was a day-night test, they have after office hours time to go and watch the game. And the 2020 format. And yes, I don't have inside view of the BCCI. I'm not part of the BCCI. They haven't spoken to me in 15 years. I'm not privy to that. But I would, if I was there, I would definitely be thinking of launching a secondary tier league with ownership coming in again at the second level out there, not at the valuation of $1 billion, but at the valuation of $50 million, $100 million, which was the valuation of IPL in year one of the secondary league, and that can be up to 20 teams and coming into secondary league. And 2 teams are relegated up and 2 teams are relegated down would make it extremely competitive, extremely valuable to the players, and it will make a whole new game altogether. Instead of 4 foreign players, maybe you'll have 2 foreign players in the secondary league. Or no, actually leave it to 4. But that's neither here nor there. You probably need 4 because you need more talent in the secondary league to be again trained up. What do the foreign players do? They are able to put discipline, locker room discipline, international discipline, give them worldwide experience, and also make them what they are today.
Fascinating. Yes, I am aware that you are not in touch with the BCCI, nor did I imply that, but it is always a thought-provoking thing to speak to you because that's what it is about. This game is about ideas. And when you sold the IPL in 2008, it was about ideas. So I keep saying this. In my book, Maverick Commissioner, I've said it that we may be critical of you, but let's give the devil his due. It was Lalit Modi who created the IPL, and that credit is his. The way he ran it, you can question, and I've done that.
True, without doubt.
That's what it is.
So I look forward to that.
Treat the man with the black and the white and the grey, and that's how I've done that. I've had my run-ins with him. I've asked him the questions, but I've got to say one thing: it is always thought-provoking when you speak to him because it's about ideas and ideas that transform our world. The IPL is one such idea, which is only there to grow. Lalit Modi, thank you very much for your time once again. Always interesting to talk to you. Hopefully at some point in time we'll be able to do a physical interview as well. But till then, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anytime. Thank you.